So there are a few traits that all 9 of us have, regardless of who's the best, who's, has a title. There's something that all 3 of us have in common. And there's something that you also, as a world-class hurdler, need to have if you're going to really get through this minefield. And this is a minefield because I consider those 10 barriers 10 bombs, right? And what happens when you hit a bomb? It detonates in your face. So there are 10 bombs in front of us in this minefield. But there's 3 things that you need to have to be a world-class hurdler, to even make it to this spot, to even book a ticket in this lane. And there's a lot more than these 3, but these are the 3 that are the most important in my opinion. So the first thing is you need to really be dogged. So all of you probably have something that you really want to achieve this year or something that you want to do better moving forward. And to be dogged to get to that finish line means you have to have a strong sense of purpose, right? You have to have a strong sense of what it is that you want. Every single one of us here are very clear on what we want. We want to win. We want to be the world champion. We want that title. That is clear. That is clear regardless of what happened the night before, what happened moments before. We are clear on our mission, right? And you need to be clear on your mission. You need to be clear on what it is that you want. And I think sometimes the distractions of what other people think you should want, or what the world says you should want, kind of mix itself up, and then we lose sense of what our purpose is. So for me here, my whole goal, to be honest, was simply to be top 5. That was my goal. My goal wasn't to, break a national record, which I know some people wanted for me. Some people were like, well, we want you to win the overall title. That wasn't even my focus because I only had so much control over that, right? Like if somebody else was just gonna torch it up that day, what can I do? But my whole focus was be top 5, be in the top 5. The reason that was a goal for me is I'm the youngest one here. I'm 22 years old, had never been here before. A Canadian woman had never been in this position. And I don't think people expected a lot from me, right? But I knew exactly what my purpose was, my mission was. I was dogged and fierce about that it didn't matter what anybody else wanted. The second one was perseverance. Now, that can sound really generic, right? Like we all do that. We all can do that. But the truth of the matter, it is one of the best traits that you can have as a world-class hurdler, because every single one of us here has had something that has taken us off our course, right? A pulled hamstring, one of our sponsors dropping us, the night before getting sick, getting food poisoning. These are all the things that happen, right? On the way to getting to a world-class final, right? I can't tell you how many stories I know of hearing like, oh, by the way, Michelle Perry, your biggest rival. Yeah, her coach is not going to be here. He got sick, right? There's always something that has happened. Oh my goodness, did you hear her flight was delayed? She literally just got here like a day ago. All those things happen, right? But you still have to have that ability to persevere. None of us would be here if something bad happened and we just stopped and we quit, or we thought about what other people thought. And I think that was the biggest thing for me at the time is, well, what are people going to say if I don't win? What are people going to say if I don't get that promotion? Well, what are people going to say if, my relationship falls apart, whatever it is? But at the end of the day, all of us knew what we wanted and we were persistent. We were persistent in that. Everything else was noise. Everything else had to be canceled out and we put our blinders on. And sometimes you have to do that, even if it means that people don't get it and people don't understand and they're judging you for that, right? I know for me, I hate saying this now because it sounds so weird. Like this was my religion, right? And I come from a very religious family, but for, my family, they weren't athletes and they wouldn't understand why I had to put this thing first, but I had to put it first. Even though it was very unpopular at times to be like, yeah, I can't make it to your birthday, or I can't make it, to your kid's christening because I actually have to be at the track, or I have to be at this race. Like, this is my shot. You know what I mean? But it was the thing that I wanted. And I knew this was my only season to do it. And when I'm 40, like I am now, I'm not going to get that shot. So I took my shot. And the third one, and the final one, which to me, again, is the most important, is resilience. Resilience, resilience, resilience. And you're going to see why that is probably the most important trait that all of us can develop. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your background is. I don't think this is something that everybody is born with. I think this is something that you can develop. I think this is a skill that you can sharpen, right? Regardless of your history. And yeah, are some of us better at doing that than others? Sure. But it's something that all of us can develop. So resilience means stuff has hit the fan. And has it not hit the fan in 2020 and 2021? How have you bounced back? How are you bouncing back? How are you making it through this year, right? Are you still plugging along regardless of what these last 15, 16 months have served to you? And each one of us here, regardless of how hard things have gone, the previous world championships or our national championships, we had to get up to be able to be here. To even have a lane here, we had to make sure that we were able to get up. Otherwise, you just don't make it to this pyramid, the highest pyramid of sport. You just don't make it to the top.